Happy holidays. 2022 is about to end on a fantastic downtrend. So we've seen a lot since I made mention of all the dramatic things that will transpire back in June. So if you look at one of my YouTube videos, back in June, I mentioned there's a lot of things that's going to happen, and no one really knew exactly what those events would turn out to be. But wow, what a dramatic finish to a great year. And I say great because, life is not always about money or monetary things, you know what I mean? But first and foremost, appreciate everything we have, every breath we take, for the ones that are here and for the ones that are not here, right? So this is a time towards the end of the year to reflect and think about where we want to be in the future, all the experiences that we've had in the past. And, it's all encompassing, right? It's not just about one thing, money or this and that. So I wanted to, it's been a while since I made a video, and I think I made a lot of different type of material for you guys, but I wanted to wish you the very best, the most prosperous ending of this tumultuous year as well. This year is one of the most unique years since 2008 in terms of the fiscal status, right? We began the year with an incredible war, and at the beginning of this year, I thought, and many people thought, that this was going to be a stance between nations, and that this would end rather quickly. However, we're going into 2023 with, Putin still keeping up this war, and with talks of nuclear actions. This is something very serious, and I don't know if it'll get to that level, but there are safeguards and protections in place so that evil will be stopped at any cost. And I think you can see that, on both sides, there's strategic pondering and strategic movements that's happening. A lot of this is happening obviously behind the scenes, right? Because you're talking about national security. So how that affects markets, while what you're witnessing right now is a transition period. We talked about in crypto from 2008, we talked about the reason why Bitcoin was birthed, right? It was an evolution, a culmination of technology, studies, experiments, all the way from the 80s, to now. It was, first coined eCash, and all of a sudden the successful finite of that was Bitcoin, right? Those were the experiments, but that was being had by many different academics, scientists, etc. But brilliant people. We are at a pace of technology that we've never seen before. And, some might say it could slow down. Some might say it could argue that we could see a speed up. Quantum technology is coming out. Energy is still the number one thing, that sustains most of us, right? So we have a limited supply of a digital asset that's now being looked at by Wall Street and BlackRock, and also JP Morgan. So 5 years ago to this date, I remember everybody, especially JP Morgan, saying, hey, Bitcoin is that's no good, it's garbage, blah blah blah. Here we are 5 years later, these guys are adopting it. I would say fortunately or unfortunately, the price had, pretty much crashed since the beginning of the year, which allowed the higher ups and the elite to really make opportunity of this, while everyone else will be in disbelief because they see the price crashing. They see how much money has been lost off the table. Some of them experience this directly. I have friends of mine who, also experienced that and speak to me and say, hey, you know what? You recommended this. Nothing here is financial advice, number one. Number two, I'm here to try to guide and simplify and break down what's happening in my own way, in my own observation for the society at large, for the community, right? I'm just one of those people who definitely educated enough to do something and say something, right? So that's facts. That's straight goods. You know what I mean? That's 20 years of being in information technology, over 20 years, and I know what I'm saying, right? And all I'm trying to do is spread the good word, keep you uplifted, keep you apprised of what I learn, what I'm invested in, and what I know about this cutting edge technology. It's almost, 15 years old at this point, and going into 2023, this will be your last year to start accumulating, whatever you can. It's a new asset class, right? This is not financial advice. But when you see the likes of JP Morgan, BlackRock, with trillions of dollars waiting at the till just to jump into the market, you better believe that this is very serious and this is something that's worthwhile in discussion. And that's why you have a lot of dishonest people at the forefront, because they know how to program, they know how to get somebody to make a program for them, right? To set up a website, like some fake ass shit looking website, and have people are desperate and hungry for a Bitcoin. So yeah, you want Bitcoin? Sure, here we go to this site and just buy this money. You send your money to those types of site, they take that money and they go shopping for whatever. So you got to be very careful, and this space definitely needs regulation, right? Or it can go unregulated, but it will be at your own risk. And the more clarity, the more regulation this space sees, the better it is for the likes of BlackRock and JP Morgan, who are now turning their tune and looking at this as a viable investment. Again, this is me just pausing in the middle of my holiday celebration to wish you a happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, happy holidays, good blessings, and stay tuned, right? Because on my 911 Lambo Instagram, I make updates rather frequently. On YouTube, my goal is to also make some frequent updates, but I also have, other responsibilities as well. So I'm multitasking at the point, so forgive me. I as well have been hit by the economic downturn, the market crashing. So I had to do a lot of different strategizing to keep my ships, sail and moving forward, right? And when I get the spare time, I'm here to provide a wealth of knowledge that I don't know if you'll find anywhere else. So these are just my free community service type of thing. In the new year, I may do something somewhat of a different type of subscription model. As I move to, I think, focus deeper into crypto, right? And this is just bringing this would be me bringing you more frequent updates, right? But that comes all at a cost, unfortunately. So we'll talk about that at a later point in time. But I'm going to keep telling you that even for Bitcoin Cash, there's a lot of people, because I mentioned Bitcoin Cash maybe about a year and a half ago. What's happened since is that price went from like $800 right now to $100 US. The more I look at Bitcoin Cash, it was a fork of Bitcoin in 2017, by some who claim to also say was Satoshi Nakamoto. And in doing so, that has a 21 million supply. One of the major differences in Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash, obviously, is the age. Bitcoin Cash is 5 years old this year. It's very relatively new, right? You know, you have DGB, who's been around since 2014, also a fork of Bitcoin. And they reprogrammed it to do a lot of identity work and identity stuff. So that's another decent project as well. But some of these don't see value until they start, you know, gaining the attention from a lot of larger entities, right? And that's what we may see in the future. So it's a risky bet, definitely. I will say that, but I am first and foremost willing to take the risk for myself and you know, for the benefit of my future, right, and others who are around me. So I take that seriously, obviously, and I'm just sharing that wealth of knowledge. There's so many different projects, and in a time like this, it may be hard to convince or to see the light of any specific project. But rest assured, 2023 will bring great opportunities. It might be one of those years where you see Bitcoin between 10,000 US to 12,000 US, struggling to get up and above 14,000. You know, it all depends, right? You know, if there's a World War III or whatever breaking out, we could see some crazy stuff happen. But never forget that Bitcoin was originally 21 million in supply, and about 4 million to 5 million has been lost. 2 million has not been mined as of yet. And what we've really seen recently is centralized exchanges are, you know, just diminishing. So what does that mean? That means that people are going to require the use of something called a ledger, right? This thing. So what does that do? That makes sure that you don't store your crypto on a centralized exchange. Now, there are other things such as Trust Wallet, MetaMask, which is literally a wallet on your computer or your phone where it resides on that device itself. So you have your keys, etc. You can back it up. You know, you can still have a wallet. You don't need a ledger. A ledger is another aspect which I just showed you. That is a device where it's a secure, trusted device. So there's no other internet connection into that other than when you hook it up to, you know, set it up pretty much. Other than that, it has an address that you can send your crypto to, and you don't even need to have it connected to the internet. It's an address that, you know, your Bitcoin address or your Ethereum address. It's a very cool device, but we're going to see more people do that. We're going to see more people use MetaMask or Trust Wallet or another type of form of wallet like Coinbase, for example. The more people that use these things, sometimes, especially the ledger, if you forget your seed phrase, then that's it. Your tokens are fried, right? I think for the MetaMask and the other wallets that can reside on your PC or cell phone, mobile device, that is, those you may be able to reset a password, etc. But you would have had to back up your seed phrase at some point as well. What I'm trying to say here in a nutshell, within the next 8 years, within the next 10 years, you may see people, unfortunately, lose their crypto. Why? Because A, they forgot their seed phrase. They're trying to secure it so badly, they forgot their seed phrase. Speaking of seed phrase and security, there's a company called LastPass, which basically that's where you can store all of your passwords. They got breached. Now, it's a matter of time till the users that were storing their passwords on LastPass, it's a matter of time till the hackers breach them and gain their passwords. So two-factor authentication is becoming something that can be bypassed as well. But there's so many different things. I just want to say, stay positive, stay upbeat, take a breath of fresh air, be happy, be humble, be wise, be observant, be kind. With lots of love, signing off. Trying to think if there's anything I forgot, but other than that, we've seen really huge players becoming interested at a time when the market is really losing a lot of these scammers, right? Well, so FTX is one of them. How this guy got $250 million bail and being able to walk the streets and stay by his parents' house is unbelievable. But I guess in this world, sometimes money talks. That's all I can say. I'm just a bystander, just like the rest. I wish I could have made it to Bermuda. That would have been off the chain, but maybe one day, maybe the next time there's something, falters and they're down there, I don't know, maybe I'll show up, but that guy and their team burnt a lot of people. A lot of crypto enthusiasts are saying this is a good thing because guess what? You got to let the dominoes fall. Like I said 6 months ago, there are things that are going to happen, right? When you see things hit the market and the hardships, look for things to happen 6 months down the road. And here we are, 6 months after I made that post in June. We've seen so many things different happen. I think I'll end this video in saying that I think I might see one more drop. Right now, Bitcoin is about $16,000. I wouldn't be surprised at all if it drops to 10K, 12K over the next 3 months. That's just me. Rest in peace to Michelle White Dove. She is a psychic that actually spoke really highly of Theta. And Digital Dave, thank you also for bringing Theta to the community. And may her and her family, be at peace, spiritually. So there's a lot happening here. And one thing that Michelle White Dove did speak of is Theta. And out of all the cryptos, she's chose Theta. So there's a lot of different things that's going on with that project. And when I look at the price was $16 at one point, and the price right now is literally 70-something cents, right? So it means that if you've got $2 in your pocket, that $2 can still go far in crypto. Don't think that, hey, you know what, it's like maybe a year ago where that $2 in crypto wasn't going anywhere. I bought my first, I bought Bitcoin when it was at about 20,000 US 5 years ago, right? Took $100, went to a machine at a convenience store, and I bought my crypto. I'm like, wow, this is an amazing thing, right? But damn it, I didn't have a lot of money back then to stick into crypto, right? I couldn't go trying to buy a whole one. I just said, hey, you know what? Well, I missed the boat. Might as well try $100 and that's it. Here we are 5 years later. Bitcoin is, the network is 20 times stronger, more secure, that is. And the price is pretty much roughly the same as what it was 5 years ago. Right? So that tells me a lot. Now it's garnering the attention. It takes a while. First, before these big players jump in, they're going to want some clarity, legal clarity. That's what we're waiting on. Bitcoin is going to have, and the supply is going to be cut in half in 2024, just a year and a couple months away. As we've seen throughout history, there's some hype going into that. So Q3 2023 should be very interesting, right? So I don't expect much within the next 6 months, some fluctuation, sideways, boring movement downwards, a drop. We could have another negative impact from the FTX fallout. There's a lot of other companies that are claiming bankruptcy because guess what? The theme is like, hey, if you put your hand up and you claim bankruptcy, all of a sudden, somebody might come and bail you out, right, within the crypto community. So it's a very strategic game. So on that note, folks, I think I've said what I wanted to say. If I do come again, I'll wish you a happy new year, but I'll definitely be on my Instagram profile as well, 911 Lambo. I'm usually on that, posting great articles on a daily basis. So thank you so much. Peace, love, and happiness.